Again, and we acknowledge this morning, and we acknowledge why we're here spiritually, and we open the space to allow the universe to do what the universe does best by means of each and every one of us. That is that God particle within the very mind and body of God. And so this morning, as we're talking about mindfulness and gratitude, our Wednesday night service, our Thanksgiving Eve service, was so beautiful with people sharing. I always open the space to allow those that have something on their heart to share what they are most grateful for. And that love and that energy that comes forth and that opportunity to say, this is what I am grateful for, and I'm going to build on this. This is the energy that serves me, that opens the space to allow myself to be in the world, but not of it. Because we are in the world. We are learning and growing and going to work and interacting and on the computer, off of the computer, on the phone, off the phone. All the things that we do in our daily lives, which is our temple and our religion. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. So when we say this for God and this for that, no. We speak with one voice. And that we take our temple with us wherever we are in the world. And at this season, this beautiful season of Advent, that birth of Christ consciousness that we go through our sacred mythology every single year, we hear, be as little children. And my hairdresser said that every year that he would dress up like Santa and he'd sit in a big chair, and all the little children would come and they'd tell their little wishes and what they wanted, and he said it was just so adorable. And he said, having not been a father, I was vicariously, because every year I was Father Christmas. And then one year, a kind of little elfin man came up, and I could see that he was older, and he sat on my lap. And I said, well, what would you like for Christmas, little boy? And he was quite wrinkled. And he said, Santa, I want 5 more years on the planet. He said, all right, well, I'm just going to I'm going to tuck that one away and just say that your wish is absolutely fulfilled. And he said, I'll tell you why. I'm 95 years old. And everyone I have loved has died of cancer. And so I have been raising funds for many, many years for cancer and for the cure and for the healing. And he said, I have a beneficiary, a philanthropist that said, if I live to be 100, he will donate $100,000 for this cause. I want to live to be 100. And Santa said, it is done. He said he had such resolve, and he was so, he had a twinkle in his eye, and he said he was small enough to sit on my lap. And he said he lived to not only be 100, but he went on to live to be 102 and fulfilled his wish. And when our work is done, we're going to leave the planet. We're going to move on to another dimension. We believe in our way of life in transitions, and that what the caterpillar calls, it's interesting, he sees the energy of the butterfly, and there's not like a relationship, because in our own evolution, we don't necessarily see that unless we glimpse it through meditation. So what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. And energetically, we are all that. And moving into this Christmas season, and just to acknowledge that we are the Christed one. We are giving birth at a deeper level in the manger of our hearts and our souls. That we bring gifts to that Christ child in one another. And that we become as little children. One of my very favorite stories I give every couple of years, because it's so deeply moving, is about a little 8-year-old girl. Now we are told, unless you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you must become as little children. The little children that trust, that are open, that don't hold on to all the grievances, the grudges, and criticizing outside of themselves. The little child that's pure and loving. And that if you notice children, when they get in their little squabbles, there's resiliency. They're back playing in a couple of minutes, where if it's an adult, they don't speak to each other for 5 years because this thing happened over here. The children are resilient. And they don't hold on to that stuff because they are totally living in the now. Think about it. when you are totally living in the now, you don't bring and dredge that stuff up, because we know that we create everything in our reality to grow, to evolve, and to unfold. This little girl's name was Tess, and she overheard her mommy and daddy in the next room, and she knew it was gravely serious because the voices went way down, and it was about her little brother. And her mother said, I don't see how we can stay in this house. And the father said, we're going to have to get an apartment. We can't even afford the surgery for little Tommy. And she was listening to this, and she was listening very intently. And so she heard the mother say, only a miracle will save him now. So she went in, she marched into her room, she went up on her dresser, she had like a little jam jar, you know, those little mason jars. And she emptied it to count her money, because she was going to save that little brother, and she was going to make sure he had a surgery. And she said a little prayer, dear God, please save my brother. Please save brother. And then she poured it out, and she could count it. And she did this 3 times. Dear God, please save baby brother. Pour it out. Count it. She had exactly $1.11. She marched down to the Rexall drugstore, and she was waiting for the druggist, the pharmacist, who was speaking to another gentleman, and they were ignoring her, and she was waiting patiently, as patient as an 8-year-old can wait. And finally, she just thought, yeah, I got to get somebody's attention here. And so she went, nothing. They just kept talking. So then she kind of kicked the counter a little bit. They were very intently talking. So in her 8-year-old way, she just took out a quarter from her little mason jar, and she tapped it on the counter, which got the pharmacist's attention. And he said, in a very annoyed voice, what can I do for you? Can't you see I'm speaking here with my brother, and he's from Chicago. I don't get to see him very often. And then he went back speaking to the brother. And she said, how much does a miracle cost? Well, this got his attention. He said, we don't sell miracles in this drugstore. She says, well, my brother needs a miracle, and I have $1.11, and I need to know how much a miracle costs. And the gentleman, the pharmacist, knelt down and said, what exactly is wrong with you, brother, that you want to buy a miracle? Maybe I can help you. She said, he has something in his head, and it's just growing, and we can't stay in our house, and we'll have to move somewhere else, and that my baby brother might die. And she welled up. I have $1.11. How much does a miracle cost? And he said, you know what? It's your lucky day. A miracle is $1.11. And if you will take me with you, I will go and see your brother. I'm a doctor, and I may be able to talk. I may be able to help and talk with him, see what's going on here. So he took her hand, the pharmacist stayed in the shop. The brother from Chicago went the 2 blocks down. They went in. He examined the little boy. He had a brain tumor, which was Dr. Armstrong's specialty, was neurosurgery. He performed that surgery, and this is a true story, and that little boy lived. And his mother turned to her husband, her father, and said, oh, this has been such a miracle. And she began to lay out the unfoldment of how this transpired. Because we know that with God, all things are possible. You can say to this tumor in the head, remove hence, and it does, because with God, all things are possible to them that believe, if we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed. And I am the mustard seed lady. I give mustard seeds out. So people go, and I put them in little darling little jewel boxes things, and they go, oh, this really pretty jewel box. I said, there's something in it, something so powerful in this. And they look again, oh, it's a little seed. What kind of a seed do you think it would be? Maybe a mustard seed. That's right. If you have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, you say to this brain tumor, you say to this cancer, you say to this situation, remove hence, and it does, because with God, all things are possible. So when the mother turned to her husband and said, I wonder how much this would have cost if we would have had to pay for it. And little Tess knew exactly how much a miracle cost. $1.11 for a miracle. And the faith of a little child. The faith of a little child. And to have the synchronicities, the serendipitous moment, to have that courage of a little child as well, because that little child within us arises because it's always on the solution level and always sees a way. And we can remember, and I have a picture of myself at 4 years old, and I call her the 4-year-old wonder child, because she knew she could do anything. And then we grow and we unfold and we buy in to the fear concept. We buy into lack, limitation, and scarcity. And when we have our trials, tribulations, and challenges and opportunities, we think this way of life doesn't work. Why am I going through this? And we go through the human condition so we can come out on the other side of it. Triumphant and victorious. Be of good cheer. I have overcome the world of conditions, appearances, effects. I have overcome the world of diseases, of lack, of limitation, of scarcity. Be of good cheer. I have overcome all of that. Because I and my Father and Mother God are one. I believe in the God of miracles. I believe that nothing happens by chance. Even if we think, how could this have happened? Things that I've judged. In fact, I was listening to Greg Braden, who's just a wonderful, wonderful scientist, and he's got so many great books out, and one was The Divine Matrix, and he talked about when someone came, he had a property manager, and he had a girlfriend, and you know, these things, and he said, I was coming out of the airport, and I put my little card in, and it said, it declined. And I couldn't get out of the airport. Decline, I got all kinds of money in there. Put it in again, you know, you always say, run it through again. Well, we did run it through again, no. So they knew him so well at the airport, they just let him go in, you know, with the $5, he's good for it, right? And then he gets home and he sees that his girlfriend has cleared out all of her things. No one's there. And she's cleared out his whole bank account, all of them. Interestingly enough, the manager, the property manager, was running a little marijuana on the side on the property, and so he was arrested. I mean, it went on and on and on, these things, when he got back from giving the best talk he ever gave on the universe loves unconditionally, right? I just love the way God works in such mysterious ways, because he said, everything I judged came upon me. If I judged it as negative and bad, it came upon me, so that I could grow through that judgment and come out on the other side of it and heal those issues. Because it looks like someone's done it to us, and the truth is, they did, but on some level, we gave our permission. We don't like to look at that. I know that Louise Hay told me once when I was sharing something that happened, she goes, you weren't paying attention. So when we look at mindfulness and gratitude, and that everything in our life, that there's no good or bad, but thinking makes it so it's not good or bad experience, it's all just experience to get us on the road to life, and sometimes it looks like a pharmacy and a druggist. How much is a miracle? How much is a miracle? Is it worth our time, our attention, and our gratitude to look at what's working in our life? And then, I always say, don't have any incomplete cycles in your life. Clean it all up. Don't let any loose ends be out there. And for the next 21 days, I suggest that we all do this great, wonderful opportunity to go to the next level. So in spirit, mind, and body, we're going to think the thoughts that are going to get us there. And when negative thoughts come up, you can just acknowledge them and return them to their native nothingness from whence they came. Because in truth, what are they? They're the life and the energy that we put in it, isn't it? The life that we energize it, we get people to agree with us, and we make a big drama out of it. And the truth is, it's just experience. What are we going to do with our experience? So when we look at what I'm grateful for, we're going to include all that. We're going to include what we think was the worst moment of our life that brought us to this present moment of enlightenment and awareness. Because remember, the moment of enlightenment is the moment that we know we have a choice. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. God, life, truth, beauty, or something less than that. It's all our choice. And to ingest those things this next 21 days that are going to be life-giving, life-affirming. And that if we're used to drinking alcohol, I say, let go of anything that's mind-altering in this next 21 days so that we can move to the next level. That includes sugar and all the things that, the holidays represent. Do everything in moderation for the next 21 days, because in 21 days, that's when a shift, it's been proven scientifically, that's when the shift actually begins to imprint on our consciousness. In 21 days. In 21 days, a baby chick is made. In 21 days, if you've had a move, you're kind of settling into that move, and you know that you're there. So the next 21 days, let's be so conscious and so mindful as we enter into the advent of the Christ consciousness being born in us and the gratitude that is there for us. How much does a miracle cost? We are told that miracles are natural expressions of love. I believe that. I've experienced that. And to come from cause this next 21 days, not effect and all the stuff that we think has been piled upon us, but giving gratitude. I love when Dr. Rogers stood up on our Thanksgiving Eve our service, and he said, I'm a student of this way of life, and that in 2002, when I started taking ministerial training up to this present moment, and to walk into a situation and be told that that has ended, so that a new cycle begins. So we close one door behind us that was 11 years of sacred service and wonderfulness to the energy that lies before us that is an ever-expansive energy field. This is how this works. We give thanks at this moment for all of it, and we move out this next 21 days allowing ourselves to experience life as we have never quite experienced it before. So consciously and so aware and so open. And if someone presses our buttons, let's thank them. Let's thank them that something was brought forth that I can open to and heal. So this morning, as I wish you a glorious day, a glorious Sunday and Thanksgiving weekend, and how much we have to be grateful for. I know where we're going. Do you? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.